What is up? It is Spencer here, and today what I'm celebrating is a reset, to restart and reconfigure what is going on in my life. And I want to invite you and your life to consider these things as well, and these elements that I've been exploring and playing around with as I began to take my journey more seriously. So if resetting and recalibrating where you're at in your tracks on your journey as you're speeding through life, if that's something that interests you, then subscribe, because these are going to be the following few videos for the next couple of weeks on my channel, as it's something that resonates with me at the moment. And tune in, and don't forget to comment at the end of this video, because I am always there, always having conversations with you, and especially I love people that like to challenge the topic at hand. I love that, I embrace it, so let's get into it. So the wonderful news is that spring is here. This might not concern you if you don't live somewhere where I live, where there's obviously snow, as you can see, but spring is here, and people like myself and probably like you, we like to adapt to cycles. And that's why when it comes to New Year's, we've got resolutions. When it comes to birthdays, we've got resolutions. When it comes to spring, we start cleaning. And what I'm more interested in cleaning is my life and my schedule. Up until a few months ago, I was the kind of person, as you know if you've been following my channel, to have the kind of jobs, jobs that pay me, not careers, jobs, where someone else makes my schedule, someone else tells me my hours, and all I have to do is obey. So it's totally just a set it and forget it kind of situation. If you've been following my channel, you know that I'm the feminist who reveals shocking truth about pickup artist seminar, and you know that I had an internship with Real Social Dynamics because I networked pretty hard at the hot seats and got to know the CEO and etc, etc. And now my internship has turned into a job that is paying me. This is what I'm doing now. This is what I'm doing. After this, I go to work. Where is work? My home, wherever I want it to be, because that's what happens at a job like what I have right now. If you want to learn more about how I got that position, my buddy Brian Choi, he's coming out with a video where he interviewed me and we go in depth about that experience. I will put a link to that video when it comes out on this video so that you could see what is up, how I got that, because there's no point jumping into it since Brian did an excellent job of pulling that information out of me. Moving on. So what I've noticed, not having someone else giving me my schedule, giving me my hours, telling me what to do, working for the man. What I've noticed is that, oh my God, now I'm the woman. Now I'm in charge. I mean, I have bosses. I have supervisors. I have people who are superior to me in the food chain of what is Real Social Dynamics while I'm working on the team. But at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to get my shit done. I'm fully accountable for everything I do. I set my schedule. I cannot work. I can work. I could work all damn day. I could work all day, start to finish. I could work 2 hours. I could do whatever. In fact, there are probably some tasks that no one would really know if I didn't do them. So why not just put that to the side, or just get rid of it, sweep it under the rug? So that's where I'm finding myself right now. It's something I'm not really familiar with, because if you have been following the channel, then you know that I have been the cashier at the grocery store, which is just down the road. I have been the garbage sorter, which I'm very, very fond of. I could put a link to that video as well.
It's training you how to stay present in pain, because everybody wants to be really present and positive, right? Everybody wants to be mentally tough, right? You want to have mental toughness, right? Well, where do you get that from without going through things? So
I have been all of these things and more, and I have embraced it because I like that grind. I like really putting the hustle in and breaking my back over some work. I didn't mind. I never ever complained about someone else making my own hours. I never complained about the BS of that kind of work, ever. That was always something that I was ready and willing to embrace, because I knew it was that kind of work that would give me the drive to push forward and have that work ethic, I guess, emulate in new situations, such as working on the marketing team of Real Social Dynamics. A really interesting opportunity that I'm extremely grateful for, because of the challenge of I'm in charge. This is my life. In fact, this is sort of a dream. If you don't think that I haven't been thinking for years, I would love to get a job somewhere in a company like RSD. If you don't think that, then you're wrong. You've totally misjudged me. I've been wanting this position for so long, and now I have it. Have you ever heard people talk about that whole thing of you see this end result goal, and then once you get it, it's just like, oh, okay, it happened, and like, I'm here, I'm in it. What do I do with this? What do I do with this new situation? And that's where I'm finding myself right now. My internship's done. I'm now in payroll. I'm a real person. I got to deal with this. Oh, and I'm also working what is my 20-year-old dream job. Oh shit, it's all happening right now. What's next? The truth is, I found it pretty challenging. I love what I do, probably because it is challenging, because in former jobs where someone is setting my schedule, someone is basically making all of those essential decisions for me, there's not much I have to do. I just have to comply, which is the challenge in those jobs. It's kind of like, I'm complying, I'm wearing the uniform, okay, that's okay, all right, I'm pumped about this, fine. Whereas now, the challenge is the freedom, I suppose. And with freedom and without the proper discipline implemented in that framework of freedom, discipline and freedom, Jocko Willink, right? Discipline equals freedom. Then I found myself sort of swamped in stress and confusion and duress and where am I and is this the right path? And then I would counter that with like, of course this is the right path. You've wanted this for so long. I guess maybe it didn't meet your expectations of what you thought would happen, but you're here and it is cool. So run with it. What's going on, lady? That's how I would pep talk myself into this. And I suppose what it would be is in a job like this where people are surrounded, throughout the globe, and you've got different notifications hitting you left, right, and center at different times, middle of the night, midday, whatever, you're hanging out with your family, something came up, oh no. You have to understand and implement a framework where that type of freedom that's running loose, all this information and notifications and situations running loose, running wild, there has to be something, a container to put it in. Whether that container is a schedule you respect or what have you, a mindset, a way to approach it, that's something that I'm exploring. So this past weekend, what I did was I want to say almost totally put work aside. I didn't, but I did, very little hours and did not very demanding tasks in those few hours that I did this weekend. And instead I put everything aside and I shut everything off. I shut my mind off and I did what would be appropriately called at this time of year, spring cleaning. I cleaned my apartment. My girlfriend was away for the weekend, so I had the whole place to myself. I had my thoughts to myself. I could do anything. I had the freedom, and in my freedom I was choosing to silence work and just work on myself, because I understood that I must first take care of myself in order to make the right actions in this life on the outside of the self. So I cleaned my apartment and I really got into it. I'm not just doing it to power through, but more so just this is a process, this is a nurturing process, things have to be organized. Boom, got that out of the way. I then complemented that activity later in the evening when it was dark, and I took psilocybin mushrooms and went deep down that rabbit hole, had a lot of feelings, thoughts, revelations, which really are just sensations and theories, which I must now put into action. I'm now beginning to integrate what I've gotten from that experience and put it into my day-to-day practical life. Because yes, I did take psilocybin mushrooms in order to just figure out the logistics of my schedule. It may not sound very beautiful or woo-woo, like you would think you would take psychedelics in order to have the great deep universe give you the message of the all and the everything. But in fact, that is what happened, because the all and the everything is totally, it coincides and works with just your little practical schedule. Like when you wake up, what do you eat? What do you drink? Etc., etc., etc. And ultimately, the great takeaway was from this book that I've been reading the past week that I knew I had to read, or it was just thoughts that I had to begin taking seriously in my life as I am now on the course exactly where I want to be, exactly as I predicted it, working for the company that I wanted to work for. I'm on this course, and because I'm here, I have to make it work. I can't just let these opportunities slip through my fingertips and be like, well, I got the thing I want and now I'll just not work for it anymore. Absolutely not. What I believe is that the years leading up to working for Real Social Dynamics, the years I always felt like an ambassador, and I touch on this in the interview with Brian. I always felt like an ambassador of the company. I almost was sort of tuned in at the paradigm where as if I was working for the company as well. So then once I got integrated into company culture, it was like, well, this is where I belong. And now thinking about it, there's no reason to feel like I should take my foot off the gas pedal of the competitive edge and the belief that I put into my journey to get me to where I am now. So what I did the past week was I read this book by Greg McKeown, however it's pronounced. It's called Essentialism. And in this book, well, let's just summarize it really quickly. It's like how to say no, when to say no, or rather when to do, what to execute on, the who, what, when, where, why. And the big thing is the why, and like, is it worth your time? And bringing attention to the importance of understanding your boundaries, my boundaries, and knowing that, listen, if I want to be great, excellent, if I want to give, for instance, if I'm talking to my superior, if I want to give you everything, then I have to take what I know I can give you everything on. I have to know my boundaries and structure it in a way where it's like, I know when I will get to this task. It's not going to be today. It's not going to be tomorrow, but heck, it's going to be Wednesday. So just stay tuned. And now let's shut the fuck up, because I'm going to set it and forget it and respect my boundaries in order to produce the greatest work possible for you. So that was for me the great takeaway from this book, Essentialism by Greg McKeown, whatever it might be. And I feel like with spring coming, I'm on this path of the reset, as I said earlier in the video. And I want you, my tribe, so to speak, my followers, my friends, my contrarians, to join me on that reset as well, because this is what needs to be happening. It needs to be a consistent effort of pulling the weeds, constantly reevaluating where you are and questioning why it is that you're not where it is that you want to be. Why is it that you are not where you want to be? And that's a really, really serious question. It's such a valid question because it should be something you could answer. Not with excuses, not with, I'm not where I want to be because of X, Y, and Z. Honestly, they might be valid excuses too, but then you have to ask yourself, well then what else? What else? How do I get there? How do I do it? Is that even where I want to be? When you see yourself in the things you want to do and the things you want to accomplish, is that something you actually want to do? Is that something you want to do? Because I beg you, I am begging you to understand that we are in a world where we are told to want things that we might not necessarily want. And the only way to figure this out, the only way to figure out where it is that you are and where it is that you want to be, the things that you want to have, the person that you want to be, a lot of that is clouded by messages that are not necessarily ours, but influences from all around us as we are growing up, from school, from friends, from parents, from advertisements, again and again, hitting you at all sorts of directions, even when you don't realize that it's happening. How to deal with this? Something I've been dealing with for so long. Well, it's exactly that. It's the reset. It's taking the time to turn everything off and to look deeply within yourself. I do not believe that you need psilocybin mushrooms to do such a thing. No, forget it. Very, very beneficial. Go for it if you can. Do it safely if you can. I'm not a doctor, by the way, so just note that. However, all you need to do is just turn everything off. Turn work off. Turn your relationships off. Put a pause. Put a respectful pause. Plan for it. Plan for the pause. And think and write and evaluate. And I'm going to end the video here because, again, like I said, I'm on the reset journey. But it's already feeling great and it's not over yet. There's still more to look at. I still have to evaluate the reset itself. Is this reset working? How could it be better? How could it be better? How could it be better? What do I want? Where am I going? So those are the questions and those are the thoughts that I invite you to play with this week as we embrace what is spring. If spring concerns you at the moment, wherever you are in the world, please comment below and let me know where you are in the world. I'd be very, very curious to know where my viewers are, where it is that you are watching me, where it is that we are meeting, and hit subscribe, hit like, And check out the video by my friend Brian when he interviewed me, because it will give you more insight into how I got the job that I have right now that I'm super pumped about. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon.